Warning: Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, yes, sir, this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
they do fit into it.
The problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't.
It's the Negro here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the so-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What?
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Excuse me. Please make sure you're hitting that like, share, and hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as clicking the link in the description, joining the Telegram group to help circumvent some of the shadow banning that PukeTube has been doing within the new black media. With that being said, family, we got to talk about this whole Reef ceremony that took place out in New York. Last time we was here, we had to talk about the Musty Man March, and now we got to talk about Ghana coming over here casting spells on their own, of their own, excuse me. Because that's what that was, family. And like I said, for me, it's easy to see, and shout out to our sister Brooke, who also called this out. When you think about the history of the people who were sold out of Ghana, right? One of the things that you have to remember is that Ghana was, like I said, working with the Portuguese just like the Congo was. The reason why Elmina Council sits there on the coast today is because just like the Congo, that area had been quite literally trading with the Portuguese since the 1400s. And so the Portuguese set up, these castles, these forts, in order to keep other European countries from pillaging the gold that they were getting, and later on what later became the slave trade from the slaves they were getting as well. So Portugal, or the Portuguese, they've been hand in hand with these Africans for a long time when it comes to trade. And this is many places in Africa. So when we speak about Ghana in the way that they were selling their slaves, Sister Brooke talk about this a lot. There's the tree of forgetfulness that they would have the slaves walk around to cast a spell in order to make sure that they have no knowledge of who they are and that they will never return. That being the case, family, one would have to be able to come to the conclusion that since they've been trying to pull us back there, and really not even back there, they've been trying to get us to maneuver our funding over to them, to invest our FBA dollars into Ghana. And it hasn't been working. They haven't been able to draw enough people back to Ghana, or not even back to Ghana, but to Ghana. They haven't been able to make enough money to pay off their hell of a debt to the Chinese. And so now they're casting spells trying to reverse the first spell that they put on the people that they sold out of their country. That's what's happening here. That's what the whole reef laying situation, that's why they're putting up sigils. And for those who don't know what sigils are basically symbols that you can charge or have multiple meanings within the sigil, right? So when you look at Medu Neter or you look at hieroglyphics, the imagery of the hieroglyphic, that is basically a sigil. Those are sigils because when you study the hieroglyphics, certain Medu Neter has different meanings to them. And that's basically what that sigil was when they that they brought over to New York and put on that damn stone. That sigil in itself can be a spell. They didn't have to say any spell. They didn't have to say anything out loud that was conjuring like, because they already have that sigil plus those reefs. We don't know. They could have already put the spell on the reefs as well as bringing that sigil over and placing it on that stone in order to activate the spell. This is how spell work works, family, in case you didn't know. Many people who studied the occult understand and know these things because these are things that the occult uses. Sigils, you see them all the time. When you see a Masonic symbol, that's a sigil. Hell, when you see a stop sign, that's a sigil. Whether people understand it or not, it is a sigil. It has a meaning. Every time you see that red stop symbol, that red octagon, it doesn't even have to have stop in the middle of it. But you know to stop when you see it. When you see that yellow upside down triangle, it doesn't have to say yield. When on the inside of it, when you see it, you know that means to yield or caution. So this is what these folks actually have been doing for a long time. Right now, we're just seeing Ghana dip their little toe into the water in order to see if they can reverse a spell that they put on the people that they sold out of Ghana. So before we jump into this, family, let me go ahead and scroll up and give a B1 salute and a shalom to our sister, Aquarius Minded in the building. Much love to you, my queen sister. Thank you for being here, as well as Brenda Thomas in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. As well as our sister Andrea Jones in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Our sister Patricia A. Jones is also in the building. Much love to you, my sister queen, and thank you for being here. Our sister Mrs. C. Phillip Davis is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Our sister Anita Harrell is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Our good brother Reparations Nation is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Our sister Priscilla Taylor is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Fon Nessa is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Hebrew Native is in the building. Shalom, family. Much love to you and thank you for being here as well. Rael is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family, as well as a Law Solution in the building. Much love to you and shout out to Chi-Town in the building. Much love, much love. Only Us is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as well. Shout out to you, Reparations and Tangibles, specifically for foundational Black Americans. Absolutely, family. Much love to you. Want to make sure we got everybody. Our good brother Retro Gemini is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Our sister M. Flower Noy is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Our good sister Cooking with Miss D is in the building. Much love to you, my sister queen, and thank you for being here, as well as our brother Reef is in the building. Shalom to you, my good brother, and thank you for being here as well. Brandon is in the building. V9 is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as well. Hello is in the building. Much love to you, as well as 13 Mike Travels in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as our brother Joseph Ward is in the building. Joseph Word in the building. Shout out to you, my good brother. My apologies on the mess up. I don't know why. When I see your last name every damn time, it immediately goes to Ward. But anyway, shout out to you, my good brother. Thank you for being here, as well as V for Vengeance in the building. Much love to you, my good brother, and thank you for being here, as well as FBA Lineage, Culture, and History in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Make sure we got everybody. Our good brother Crew Reality is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as our sister Misha Brown in the building. Much love to you, and the 681. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Want to make sure we got y'all. All right, looks like we got every. Shout out to Yaya Yisrael in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Jesse Paris in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Yo famo. Okay, shout out to you. Rizzer, much love to you, and thank you for being here. And everybody, all those who are not in the chat and all those who will catch this on the replay, much love to all of you, and thank you all for being here. Now, let's start off here. Shout out to our good brother, Professor Alan. Let's go here.
Why is Ghana laying reefs on our ancestors' graves? The Ghanaian government has made plans to lay reefs on our ancestors' graves in Manhattan, New York. The reefs will be laid at the African Burial Ground National Monument in Manhattan, New York. First and foremost, there's no proof that our ancestors' remains in New York are of African origin. In Lorenzo Green's masterpiece, The Negro in Colonial New England, he proves that only 3 to 4 Africans came to the United States per year in 1680. Dr. Green's book was published by Columbia University in the 1940s. Speaking of Columbia University, Dr. Howard Zinn of Columbia University identified us as Indian or of native origin. Given the fact that Ivy League scholars in the Ivy League have identified us as indigenous Indians, why is Ghana laying reefs on our burial ground? Could Ghana's reef laying ceremony be part of a spell to destiny swap? Ghana, leave my ancestors alone. Ghana was the first to enslave us, and now they want to save us? Why is Ghana laying reefs?
Shout out to our good brother, Professor Alan. I love his little quick take videos because he'll put so much information in like 1 minute, you know. And then also that last part that he said, Ghana was the first to enslave us, and now they want to save us? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah, exactly. Leave our ancestors alone. Leave our ancestors the hell alone. To be honest with you, I'm not too mad. I'm not too mad. You know why? Because what's happening, and this is my theory, like I said, they're trying to reverse the spell that they put on the ones that they sent out. They actually sold off. But here's another thing that I think that they're trying to do. I think that they're trying to pacify our ancestors' energy, because the ancestors have been working and moving. You get what I'm saying? They have been working and moving. If you come against FBA for whatever reason, for some reason, the ancestors said no more. And the reason is because we started giving, you know, the love to the ancestors here, rather all over the damn globe somewhere that we might or might not be from. But the ancestors' energy has been overwhelmingly showing up and showing out. So I would not be surprised if they were trying to pacify our ancestral energy. But the problem is, it's too late. The cat's out of the bag. Pandora's box has been opened wide, and nothing they're doing or can do will close it back. Now, a lot of these countries are on the take, and I don't know what their little plot is, but they're working with these Ghanaians and whatever else African. The UN is working with these folks. And this is how you know that there's a gameplay at hand, right? When the goddamn United Nations post a video like this to their YouTube, is coming directly from them. And the title of it is Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade, UN's Chief's Message. This is the chief of the UN, and this is his message, and this is on the UN YouTube page. So let's get into it. Hold on. Let me pull it on up here. Make it bigger.
Today, we commemorate the victims of a staggering crime. Millions of people stolen from their families and communities in Africa, trafficked across the Atlantic, and if they survived the journey, enslaved in the Americas. Millions more were born into bondage, brutally exploited for their labor, and denied their basic humanity. We honor their quiet resilience and courageous acts of open resistance. This global order prevailed for over 400 years and haunts our world even now. In systems and institutions shaped and enriched by chattel slavery, in social and economic inequalities rooted in past injustices, and in biases that permeate our culture and impact us all. On this International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, we are called to confront these legacies. By rejecting the false narrative of racial difference and the ugly lie of white supremacy, by dismantling racism online, in the media, in schools, at work, in politics, and within ourselves, and by working for truth, justice, and repair. I welcome the initial steps by some governments to address the consequences of slavery, but far bolder actions by many more member states are needed, including commitments to respect African countries' ownership of their own resources, and steps to ensure their equal participation and influence in the global financial architecture and the UN Security Council. Together, let us commit to a world where all people live and thrive in dignity.
All right. Now, I want to make this very clear. They know they're full of shit. The UN, he started out by talking about people who were stolen away from Africa. And the UN is so full of shit in that statement because they already know that people wasn't stolen away. They already know that people were sold. How do they know? We're going to put a pin in that and get back to that in a hot second. We're going to start off with this reef laying ceremony, though. So let's get to this reef laying ceremony. Shout out to Hebrew Native. Keep playing stupid. It is FAFO season, and you are absolutely correct. And they're about to find out, just like everybody else had to find out. So let's get into this reef laying ceremony. Oh, and family, this video came out 3 days ago. So this was before they went over and did the reef ceremony, and it was before they went to the UN to drop their resolution. It's very important to take away that these folks have some sort of scheme set up. Now, let's get into the reef laying situation, shall we? This was the scene.
At this stage, it's my pleasure to
So, yeah, let's first and foremost, let me give a B1 salute to our brother Antithesis in the building. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother, out here supporting. Much love to you. Now, family, y'all saw the nonsense. Y'all saw the nonsense, and yes, y'all heard the family across the street. Shout out to each and every one of the FBA family that went out there, and they basically said hell to the nano, and they made sure that there was opposition to that spell work they was trying to put on. That little dog and pony show that they tried to put on. Shout out to each and every one of them because it was hilarious. And I'm going to play a clip of it. I'm going to play a clip of them setting it off. God dang it. They was doing everything from playing this to government to doing rap song. God dang it. It was just hilarious. So shout out to each and every one of them. I know our sister Brooke was out there. Our brother Devon, the president of the Freedmen Project, American Freedmen Project. I know our good brother Melrose was out there. So shout out to all of them and everybody else that I didn't name. Much love to everybody who was out there standing on business, because that's exactly what they needed to see. The world needs to know that foundational Black Americans is in opposition to anything that these people are trying to come over here and do. Yeah, shout out to Sister BX as well. I forgot our Sister BX was out there. But yeah, these people need to see, everybody around the world needs to see and know that we are in opposition to whatever these people are coming over here trying to do. These people do not speak for us. You do not get to sell us or sell parts of our community, sell off people, and then come back and then try to use their newly found clout in order to take that back and extract that back to your home. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. All you're going to do is piss more people off. However, let's get here. Shout out to our good brother Maneuver in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as our brother Burners Brass, Wooly Tress, Willie Gross, Payroll, our good brother Masa Musa in the building, Classy K, 99. FBA Michael Davis in the building. Much love to each and every one of you, and thank you for being here. Now,
so position yourself. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I lay this week in memory of our ancestors who suffered the indignity of.
Whose ancestors? Whose ancestors? What are you talking about? I lay this in honor of our ancestors. Whose ancestors? Foundational Black Americans' ancestors aren't Africans' ancestors. Foundational Black Americans' ancestors aren't Ghanaians' ancestors. We have a different bloodline that was created on this side. We have no connection to Uganda. So what are you talking about in honor of our ancestors? You're talking about a bunch of people that has no connection to you.
Enslavement may today mark a restoration of their dignity and their humanity. Amen. Good.
Now, family, I'm not promoting any type of vandalism when I say this, but I might have just went and set those damn things on fire after everything was over. To be honest with you, the disrespect, the unmitigated gall. I would have had, I just feel like I would have to just Let it burn, baby, burn. You said amen. That means we need a burning bush somewhere. Let the Most High speak, shall he? That's just me, though. I'm not telling anybody to go do nothing. I'm just saying, I just see it burning, baby, burning. Hey, you know, it's still early. Maybe the ancestors will hit it with a lightning bolt or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll get the burning bush in real life. IRL right now. Anyway, family, I want you to understand how these people think. When I said, let me go here. So here's the reef. Here's the sigil. This is the sigil here. As a matter of fact, let's go to our brother once again, Professor Alon.
That was that Ghanaian symbol, man. The quote-unquote African burial ground in Manhattan, New York has a Ghanaian symbol. This, ladies and gentlemen, isn't a Dinka symbol, and it has meaning. It is Sankofa Dwa. Sankofa means go back and get it. Go back and get what? Is Ghana going back to try to steal our identity? I found out with that Ghanaian symbol, man. The quote-unquote African burial ground in Manhattan, New York has a Ghanaian symbol. This, ladies and gentlemen, isn't a Dinka symbol, and it has meaning. It is Sankofa Dwa. Sankofa means go back and get it. Go back and get what? Is Ghana going back to try to steal our identity? I found out with that Ghanaian symbol, man.
So, as I was stating earlier, family, that sigil in itself has meaning. That sigil in itself is 9 times out of the 10 has some sort of spell work over it. So when you see this sigil and you see this reef here, for me, they both go hand in hand. They're both working in unison. And I kind of feel like I said, those reefs were there to activate those sigils because, you know, nature, usually when you're doing witchcraft, you need some sort of nature around. Just speaking on that part there, that's my opinion. You can take it or leave it. And then also, we will remember everybody that had anything to do with it. Mr. Al Sharpton, the bootlick, the sellout. That's why nobody can tell me that I can't speak up on Al Sharpton or anybody else. Damn that, you got me messed up. This is the type of stuff that these people be doing. And if you think that they're going to get out of this life clean and then they're going to be honored for it, no. You got the game totally confused. 100% confused. In the very same way, and shout out to our good brother Black Alpha, hold up, who exposed this on his platform last night. Give me 1 second. There we go. With James Smalls going down there to Central America or South America, wherever the hell they held this damn conference, to goddamn support the Ghanaians coming to the UN talking about slavery being the gravest crime against humanity. So we're going to remember this. Their legacies have been tainted. Al Sharpton never really had a good legacy to begin with. These are decisions that these people have made on their own to stand against foundational Black Americans in order to pat their pockets. It ain't about the good of all of us. It's about the good for the individual for them. And these things are going to go down when they go down. We're going to remember all of this. This is treason. You're treasonistic against your own people. Pan-Africanism is an ideology, but you have a bloodline that you are quite literally going against to uphold an ideology that doesn't exist outside of America. You're in favor of Ghana going to the UN. Well, you should be in favor of telling Ghana, hey, if you want to be in the forefront of reparations, there are some things that you can do. Since you want to be in the forefront of reparations and you guys were actually selling slaves, why don't you lead the whole crowd in paying reparations too? Oh, yeah, you want to lead the talking points. You want to lead in the fight. Well, you can lead in the fight by paying reparations to the people that was sold away. I don't hear nobody talking to Ghana like that. So in a way, I'm actually kind of glad that he went to the UN. I'm glad that Ghana went to the UN. And we're going to get to that in a second. Let's get back over here, family. Let's get back over here. Your boy Mendani was there and he had some choice words to say.
Say first, thank you to the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, for hosting today's Reef Lane. Ghana is a nation that holds deep meaning for me. My father gave me the middle name Kwame after Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, a leader who fought for freedom. Say first, thank you to the...
All right, family. So as y'all heard, the family was in the back and they wasn't having none of that. They wasn't having none of that. And honestly, oh man, I watched this video clip like 5 damn times just because I loved how much I was seeing. I loved it. Let's go here. Let's go here and shout out to Melrose TV, radio, media. Shout out to our good brother Melrose Radio. Let's get it in.
We, the foundational Black Americans, have not received our reparations. Cash reparations for foundational Black Americans. All others who serve them, don't support, no matter who you are. I thought I told you that we won't vote. You hear that?
That was one of my favorite things here, to be honest with you. I thought I told you that we won't vote. I thought I told you that we won't vote. Even when we out there handling business and standing on it, we can have a little fun, damn it. Let's go.
Yeah. Y'all still over there doing your little tether babbling and whatnot. Hold on, let me. Yeah. Who is that talking? Hey, nigga, come holler at me, man. Is that Mondami? Hey, yo, Mondami, I see you, nigga. This gonna be your first and only administration, you dig? We getting you up out of here. No check, no vote. That means no check, no job. Ghana will not get our reparations. Mondami, I'm talking to you, Tether. Mondami, this ain't one of them little token Negroes you be running around to getting photo ops with. Hey, yo, my son, is you out there? My son, you out there?
Bro is standing on business, Mondani. This ain't one of those Negroes that you parade around and take pictures with. Mason, are you out there? Oh, stand on that business, man.
Yeah, Mondami, wasn't your wife calling folks niggas and all that? Wasn't she talking bad about the white Jews? Damn, Mondami.
You know, when I was in school, we used to sing something like this. How you sing it, right?
early night.
Yeah, we came, we saw, we conquered, we represented.
At the twilight's last gleaming, who brushed right and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts
They out there playing Musty Tether, family. They are playing Musty Tether. Oh, this is just so heartwarming. I got just this large smile upon my face right now. And they're playing it to the president of Ghana. They're playing it to Mundami. They're playing it to goddamn everybody who's over there on that side. Oh, man, my heart is full with joy. You just don't know. Shout out to our sister Stacy in the building and our good sister Shamika Gray. The Most High is going to get these heathens, and I'm with you 100% fold, my good sister. Oh, my heart is so beautiful.
Oh, my dummy, I know you. Hold on. My Donnie, I know you still hear me. You sat here and you said that immigrants built this city.
Shout out to our sister Brooke.
When y'all built over it, and you want to sit here and say that immigrants built this city, you sat there and said that your wife is pulling us together while you claiming to be an African American. Look at you. Look at you.
May the ancestors follow you home and get their lick back for what you have done here today. Yes, speak that fire, my sister queen. God dang it. Yeah, they're out here trying to cast spells, and our sister Brooke then puts a spell work of her own on them cats out there. May the ancestors follow you home and get their lick back for what you have done here today. God dang it, that is so poetic. I love it.
And those little bum-ass $5 reefs, nobody's impressed by them. Y'all was complicit. You don't get to sell us twice. Kwame Ansa was the chief that worked with the Portuguese to build Elmina Castle in the slave dungeon.
Shout out to President Divine.
You don't get reparations on the people you sold. Go home. Go home. These are Black American ancestors. Your Ghanaians are complicit in slavery.
They quite literally threw me when they started playing the praise music in the back and the soft praise music in the background. You know what I mean? They taking them to church right now, family.
I think you should get cash reparations. I want to make sure. These are Black American ancestors. Your Ghanaians are complicit in slavery. I think you should get cash reparations. I want to make sure. Who should cash reparations go to? Let them answer, please. The lineage is fine. So that's
Foundational Black American lineage.
Reparations for foundational Black Americans only. Sure.
Yeah, that right there, I'd have shut him down. Like, yeah, you don't mean that. Anytime a person, you're asking them a direct question and you're trying to get them pinned down on the answer that they have, and then they nullify, they don't really nullify it, but what do you call it? They do some nonchalant nonsense by saying something like sure, when you saying you're saying cash reparations to go to foundational Black Americans. Sure. No. You're supposed to jump and stand on business. Yes. Cash reparations should absolutely go to and only go to foundational Black Americans, people who were enslaved here, aka the American freedmen. Saying sure is one of those situations where, yeah, Negro, you're showing exactly why you're here. And he's going to prove that. Let me let it continue.
I think there's structural things that have to be done as well.
It's always maybe.
Let him answer, please. Let him answer, please. No. I'm just gonna say, I want y'all to be able to protest and not any issues. If you continue the application, we're gonna take it.
Hundreds of Ghanaians crossed the border into Burkina Faso and killed.
So this dude, what he just basically said was quite literally, I want you guys to be able to protest without there being any problems. Well, there is no problems. They're on the opposite side of the street from where this event is taking place. They're exercising their constitutional right to protest. There is no problem. The fact that you came over there, somebody sent you to them. Someone sent you to them because they're actually making noise about this. They're actually standing on business. You guys can barely concentrate. You guys can barely get a thought out. What are you talking about? I want you to be able to protest without any problems. You are the problem. This whole event is a problem.
Soldiers and civilians, and still their
What I was saying, I'm trying to make sure y'all continue are able to protest. If you're using amplification, they're probably going to take it. That's all I want.
What you mean probably?
Alongside with terrorists.
Okay, I understand.
Yo, they sent you over here to be the plantation protector? So you just came with a random rule? No, I came to speak to you when I came with a random rule.
Trying to mediate. I understand.
No, trying to mediate. I came over to speak.
No, he's being the plantation protector.
I came to speak. On my way to speak, they had a conversation with me. That's all.
Who had a conversation with you? The overseers, the plantation owners, and they said, "Hey, go get those niggas under control."
I'm actually talking on the mic right now, bro.
Do you see the Black Americans murdered in Ghana? This is only just a few of them. I don't even have all their faces. Naomi was just slaughtered last year.
I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I was trying to. I came over with the protest. The protest about the Ghanian president or the reparations or both.
He's distracted. He don't want to get. He's distracted.
All right, so that was that clip, and like I said, shout out to everybody that was out there, everybody that was holding people's feet to the fire, everybody that was yelling out, "Go home." Every single person out there. Much love to each and every one of you, and may the ancestors smile down upon you and protect everything and every being of your body. Much love to all of you. Now, you know what the family had to do. This became a running on joke for a second.
You have some nerve putting that there. You should be apologizing for your ancestors not asking for reparations downtown. You have some nerve putting that there. You should be apologizing for your ancestors not asking for reparations downtown.
Shout out to Chris the Rebel for this right here. Oh, man, like I said, it warms my heart just to see our people going so damn hard and making sure that these folks understand that you're not just going to come over here and do no foolish stuff. You're not about to try and destiny swap us in our damn faces, cast spells in our faces, sit here and try to talk to our ancestors, bypass us to try to get the energy of our ancestors. You got the game messed up. Completely messed up. Now, let's get over here to this UN situation, shall we? Because the very next day they went to the UN, and this is what happened.
I stood in this exact place and served notice that Ghana will move a motion to declare the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. This current draft resolution is a result of months of consultation and consensus building by continental bodies, nations, experts, scholars, and jurists, with the sole aim of achieving a united front and grounding the final outcome in truth, compassion, and moral conscience, remembrance, education, and dialogue. So today we come together in solemn solidarity to affirm truth and pursue a route to healing and reparative justice. The adoption of this resolution serves as a safeguard against forgetting. It also challenges the enduring scars of slavery. Madam President, let me conclude with two significant quotes by two great leaders of history, one of them white and one of them black.
Oh, I see it in the chat, family. I see it in the chat, and I must oblige.
Send in the clowns.
The former president of the United States of America, Theodore Roosevelt, said, and I quote, "With a great moral issue involved, neutrality does not serve righteousness. For to be neutral between right and wrong is to serve wrong." Again, civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King also reminds us, and I quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." We've traveled this long road, each step guided by a desire to be better and to do better. Each step bringing us closer to the kind of world we would want.
Shout out to Phyllis Speaks. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my sister. And I appreciate your contribution. Thank you for the super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good sister. Salute from your brother. Oh, my bad. My brother. Salute from your brother. These Ghanaians done bumped their head. Oh, you ain't lying. They were the monkeys jumping on the bed, apparently, you know what I'm saying, that just continued to jump off and fall off and bust their dome wide open. Shout out to you, Phyllis. Much love to you, and thank you for your contribution. Much love. Let me also give a B1 salute to Opal Ivy in the building, as well as our sister Mrs. L. Shout out to you, my sister Queen. S. Johnson in the building, much love to you. Shalonda in the building, much love to you. Swoosh in the building, much love to you. Sakoun? Put the pronunciation in the chat for me, family. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. Yusuf is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Our sister Taste and Teas with Tony is in the building. Much love, and thank you for being here, as well as our sister Belinda in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Now, family, it's no surprise that the only people in the room that really I expected to have objection were the only people in the room that I expected to have objection. You know, the United States, the UK, and then there was one more that I really didn't fathom on. I really don't remember who the other party was. I just knew the US and the UK was going to reject it. And I knew for a fact that, god dang it, they're going to bring up the fact that these people sold slaves. They're going to bring up the fact that these people don't have any tie to foundational Black Americans. Because why? Because it's the truth. And also, they don't want to pay people that had nothing to do with slavery here in America. They don't want to pay the people they already paid. You dig me? So, I want you to hear what America had to say about this situation. Let's go here, family.
The United States remains steadfast in its opposition and condemnation of historic wrongs that resulted from the transatlantic slave trade, the trans-Saharan slave trade, and all other forms of slavery. We remain committed to the acknowledgement that these historical wrongs. Despite this, the United States observes that the text of this resolution remains highly problematic in countless respects. Consequently, the United States cannot support the adoption of this resolution. We regret that the United States must once again remind this body that the United Nations exists to maintain international peace and security. It was not founded to advance narrow, specific interests and agendas, to establish niche international days, or to create new costly meeting and reporting mandates. This resolution does all three. The United States has defined long-standing objectives to the framing of reparatory justice and the duty of reparation for historical wrongs. While we acknowledge the horrors of the past, we do not accept this resolution's assertion that historical facts from the 15th through 19th century constitute violations of jus cogens, as the term is understood in contemporary international law. The United States also does not recognize a legal right to reparations for historical wrongs that were not illegal under international law at the time they occurred. In addition to its obvious legal problems, this resolution is also unclear as to who the recipients of reparatory justice would be. The drafters and supporters of this resolution seem to believe it is them. The United States is also unclear as to who the recipients of reparatory justice would be. The drafters and supporters of this resolution seem to believe it is them. Historical wrongs that were not illegal under international law at the time they occurred. In addition to its obvious legal problems, this resolution is also unclear as to who the recipients of reparatory justice would be. The drafters and supporters of this resolution seem to believe it is them. The United States strongly objects to the cynical usage of historical wrongs as a leverage point in an attempt to reallocate modern resources to people and nations who are distantly related to the historical victims.
Basically, America said, hey, bitch, you didn't go through that. That ain't your history. That ain't your trauma. We paid y'all already. And God dang it, y'all ain't about to go and make us pay you again. Number one, you little bastards, y'all don't got nothing to do with this. Y'all not tied to the slaves that built this country. Y'all not really linked to them in any sort of way. I don't know why y'all would think that y'all would be the beneficiaries. That's what America said. America said, why would you believe that you are owed anything? Didn't you get gold? Didn't you get beads? Didn't you get plates and mirrors and things like that? The Ashanti Empire was given or paid very well. The Ashanti Empire was paid very well. But yet you think that we're going to pay you again? Negro, please. That's basically what America said. And I'm in total agreement. If anybody's going to get paid what they're saying, it ain't going to be you Negroes. The audacity of you no good coconut eating bastards. You let me get to these super chats. I can go on. Shout out to Deborah. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, sister. And also, shout out to B1 Salute to First Class Citizen. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as well. So is Mr. Smalls really behind this failed project? You know, I don't know if he's behind it. I know he's in support of it. And due to him being in support of it, it just goes to show once again, those who, and let me read what I put here real quick. How many times does FBA have to expose these people that claims we're agents? And I forgot to put the apostrophe there. Don't judge me. Claim we're agents, but they're the ones working with Africans to destiny swap our lineage with theirs and steal our birthright. That's what's going on. Shout out to you and thank you once again for your contribution, family. And shout out to Fella Speaks one more time. Once again, much love to you. Your super chat is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always. Ghana is trying to get paid twice. Am I hearing this correctly? And Elmina Castle is still getting tourist money? Great point. Haven't even talked about Elmina Castle still pulling in money. Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. Man, get the strap, as 50 Cent would say. Shout out to Fella Speaks. I'm with you 100% fold. We are in total agreement. Yeah, family. Miss D said what they do with the mirrors. Hey, obviously they broke them because they got all this bad luck coming their way. All of this bad luck coming their way. Shout out to Lemonade in the building. Much love to you, my sister. Thank you for being here. And got the nerve to stand around with Madani co-signing this. Absolutely. Absolutely. But remember, Mandani lived in Ghana for a while. He was born in Ghana. So I'm not that surprised. You know, tethers of a feather, they definitely flock together. Shout out to Primo in the building. Much love to you, as well as Crooks in the building. Much love to you, and thank you all for being here, as well as our sister FBA, chosen by God. You already know. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my sister Queen. Now, what gives these vampires the mindset to think that this would be acceptable? I would like to know what gave them the battery, who put the battery in their backs that made them think that they would be able to make our reparations their reparations, to take our blood debt and then try to extract it back to Ghana or Africa as a whole. Well, family, we already know. First and foremost, it started out with Kamala Harris going over to Ghana. Let's get into it. Before we do, shout out to First Class Citizen once more. I appreciate your contribution once again, and your super chat is blessed tenfold. These clowns is demanding all of this reparations money, but can't build a toilet to save their lives. Oh my gosh. And what does Ghana/Africa have to do with us? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Shout out to you, family. And since you threw in the clowns, we might as well go ahead and play the drop for that as well.
Send in the clowns.
Look at Kamala with her Nabisco Pelly Doug. The same Doug that celebrates Kwanzaa all of a sudden. The same Doug that's running around kissing Jill Biden in the mouth. But I digress.
A request by the Paramount Chief of Ogba, Osabere Manana Kwesianta II, for the appointment of a liaison officer between Cape Coast and the White House was immediately granted by the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris.
Appoint a liaison officer to connect with us so that maybe next 2 months, we will be preparing to come and pay this reciprocal visit.
He has appointed the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, as liaison.
I have now appointed you, Madam Ambassador, to be an official liaison to His Highness and to this extraordinary group of global leaders. And then,
now, what is a liaison? A liaison is like a bridge point, right? So whenever Ghana needs something, they can go to the liaison, and the liaison can go to the Biden-Harris administration to get whatever they need. That's what a liaison does. They are the middle point, the focal point in between whoever they're being the liaison for. So let's continue.
Let us figure out the next steps. But I do appreciate the points that you have made. And there is an unmistakable tie and bond, and all relationships that are good relationships are founded on trust and consistency and reciprocity. And so I appreciate the points you have made, and we will follow up with your request.
A visit to Cape Coast Castle, he says, will be a moment of reflection for her as she ponders on the cruelty of man to their fellow man.
When you go there and you carefully look around, you will ask yourself so many questions. Why should anybody treat anybody the way our ancestors were treated? And this gives a lot of thought. But we are not in those days now.
President Kamala Harris will be leaving Ghana on Wednesday, March 29, as she continues her three-nation visit to Africa. Judith Chitando, TV3 News, Cape Coast.
So that was one of the situations. What else was it? What else was it that had these folks believing, that has these folks thinking that they could come to America and demand that America pay them reparations for selling people away from their land? What else was it? Oh, yeah, it was Joe goddamn Biden going to Angola, apologizing to them for the slave trade, and then promising billions of dollars in investments to a bunch of mother lovers who were selling the people away.
How far our two countries have come in our friendship. We have to remember how it began. We hear them in the wind, in the waves. Young women, young men, born free in the highlands of Angola, only to be captured, bound, and forced on a death march along this very coast to this spot by slave traders in the year 1619. In the building next to us, they were baptized into the foreign faith against their will. Their names changed against their will to Anthony and Isabella. They had a son, considered the first child of African descent born in America, William Tucker. It was the beginning of slavery in the United States. Cruel, brutal, dehumanizing. Our nation's original sin, one that haunted America and cast a long shadow ever since.
But the United States founded an idea, one embedded in our Declaration of Independence, that is that all men and women are created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout their lives. It's abundantly clear today we have not lived up to that idea, but we've never fully walked away from it either. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I'm in the final weeks of my presidency. You don't have to clap for that. You can if you want. But I wanted to come to Angola. Although I've been chairman of the African American Subcommittee for a long time, I'd never made it to Angola. Because although I don't know exactly what the future will hold, I know the future runs through Angola, through Africa. I mean it sincerely. I'm not kidding.
Okay. So that was, the whole leeway while he was sitting there talking about, all routes runs through Africa, and he means that. And Ghana talking about telling Kamala Harris how, their ancestors, quote unquote, air quotes, were taken away and treated in the harshest ways. Ain't nobody talking about this. You know what? Let's get back to the Encyclopedia Britannica. We'll come back to this. Let's unpin something that was I put a pin in earlier in the broadcast. Excuse me. Earlier in the broadcast, I said that the UN was full of shit when they said that people were being stolen away from a freaking land that they were actually selling people away from. And the UN knows that to be true. And I asked a simple question. How do they know it to be true? And now I'm going to answer that question. It's because they have it on one of their websites. This is the UN, United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Gold Coast. Gold Coast is a former British colony in West Africa known today as the Republic of Ghana. In the transatlantic slave trade era, Europeans identified the region as the Gold Coast because of the large supplies of the market for gold that existed there. Portuguese traders built the forts of Elmina in 1482. That's actually 12 years after they started doing business with Ghana. They started doing business with Ghana in 1470. So they started building the castle in 1482 after 12 years of already doing business with them. Let's continue. Portuguese traders built the fort of Elmina in 1482 within 10 years of their arrival on the coast. Many other Europeans followed with forts and markets of their own, including Danish, Dutch, Swedish, and English. Eventually, the British rose to dominance and established the Gold Coast colony. In the mid-19th century, in 1957, the Republic of Ghana became the first of Britain's African colonies to gain independence after doing all that trading. European commerce in the region began to focus with a focus on gold, which explorers found to be abundant there. As was the case in many other African regions, Europeans soon began to demand African captives in the trade to the coast. As the kingdoms of the regions, especially the Ashantis, or Ashanti, began to expand and consolidate their power, a significant part of the region's commerce turned to supplying slaves instead of gold. This is on one of the UN's own goddamn websites. So when I said that they're full of shit, oh, they're so full of shit that it's coming out of their eyes, their nose, their mouth, their pores, their every orifices on their body. Now, let's get over here to the Encyclopedia Britannica. We're not going to read this all. We're just going to read a portion of this here. A revolution in Ghanaian history was initiated by the establishment of direct sea trade with Europe following the arrival on the coast of Portuguese mariners, in 1471. So I was a little bit wrong. So it wasn't 12 years, it was 11 years, excuse me. Initially, Europe's main interest in the country was as a source of gold, a commodity that was readily available on the coast in exchange for some European exports as cloth, hardware, beads, metal, liquor, spirits, arms, guns, and ammunition. This gave rise to the name Gold Coast, by which the country was known until 1957. In an attempt to preserve the monopoly of the trade, the Portuguese initiated the practice of erecting stone fortresses in Mina Castle from 1482. Was the first on the coast, on the sites leased from the native states. Let me say that again. On the coast, Mina Castle was the first on the coast on the sites leased from the native states. So it was a business deal. Not only did they make money off the slaves being sold away, but they made money leasing the land to the Portuguese. Let me say that one more time. Not only did they make money off the slaves that they sold away, but they also made money off of the land that they leased to the Portuguese. In the 17th century, the Portuguese monopoly, already considerably eroded, gave way completely when traders from the Netherlands, England, Denmark, Sweden, and Prussia, Protestant sea powers, antagonistic to Iberian imperial pretensions, discovered that the commercial relations developed, the commercial relations developed with the Gold Coast state could be adapted to the export of slaves, then in readily increasing demand for the American plantations. I would have to disagree with that part, because we know that it wasn't American plantations that these people were taken to. There were plantations in Central America, South America, sure, but make sure you put that identifier on that, because if you just say the Americas, it make people think of America, the United States of America, as well as to gold trading. By the mid-18th century, the coastal scene was dominated by the presence of about 40 forts controlled by Dutch, British, and Danish merchants. So yeah, family, y'all went over there talking all that, apologizing for all that, and all of these folks were complicit. They were already making money. They made their money off of the slaves. They made their money off of the leases to the land. In the very same way they make money off of leasing the land to this very day. So they got to the vote over there inside of the UN. And this is what happened. So apparently the vote passed, 123 in favor, 3 against, 52 abstained. Let's get a better look at the picture here. Looks like most of the European countries voted against it or abstained. United States, Israel, and Argentina voted no. And honestly, I'm glad they did. And for the very same reason in which they presented to the UN that I just played. Number one, you guys aren't owed anything here. Shout out to our good brother, Project Leroy. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. And you guys are not connected to the people that do have that debt owed to them. However, it passed. And I'm not too mad that it passed. And I'm going to tell you why in a hot second. But before I tell you why, let's go here. Shout out to Drew Laston. Shout out to you, my good brother. Thank you for your cash up. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Much love to you, family. Before we get into this, let me give a B1 salute and a shout out to our good brother Black Truth United for everything our good brother does with the B1 Rolodex, as well as our sister Brooke for everything that she does for foundational Black Americans out there in them streets, as well as our good brother Marcel Dixon. Let's hit it.
Introducing the B1 Rolodex, the easiest way to search for and support FBA and B1 businesses. Hundreds of entries from the Black grassroots for the Black grassroots. Free to use, free to download, constantly updated. Trouble navigating the document? Try using the map version. Notice a business missing? Use this simple Google form to submit an FBA or B1 business. Also submit anti-Black businesses, which are now being collected in that last tab. Find resources, contact numbers, and much more using the second tab. All the info you need to start practicing group economics today. Go to blacktruthunited.com. That's blacktruthunited.com.
Evenmelanin.com. New healthier glass bottles. No microplastic, can't be wrong. Smooth and even, let the glow begin. Melanin, age with grace at Even Melanin. Melanin, radiant skin where beauty's from within. Melanin, feel the love with Even Melanin. Evenmelanin.com.
They say doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. I say it's stupidity. We as Black Americans have been voting for the Democrats with over 90% of our votes going to them for the past 60 years. And what do we have to show for it? I'll tell you, we are 15 to 20% of the population, but nearly 60% of the homeless. We have aborted over 20 million of our Black babies. Our wealth is heading backwards, and we own less homes now than we did during Jim Crow. I'm not saying vote for the Republicans. I'm saying don't vote for any party. Vote for good policies. If anyone comes to us and they ask for or demand the Black vote, you tell them to show me your Black policies.
I am Greg Marcel Dixon, and I approve this message.
All right, had to go get me a bottle of water. All right, shout out to our good brother Black Truth United, our sister Brooke, as well as our good brother Marcel Dixon. And let me also give a B1 salute once again to our good brother, our sister, first class citizen. Much love to you. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Could it be that the movie Roots was a psyop credited to A. Haley, but backed by the scam Africanist to create this popular false narrative of us being enslaved via the Middle Passage from Africa? That is a fantastic question. And honestly, it is very possible that that is the case, especially because we have found out that Roos was not a real story for a long time. Alex Haley was going around talking about it was his actual family history. And then come to find out, Alex Haley actually committed perjury. Well, not perjury. What is it called? God dang it. I'm spacing on the actual term. Basically, he stole somebody else's writings. That's basically what he got found out to be. This man, God dang it, I'm mad. I'm spacing on Plagiarism. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the family in the chat who threw it in there. Y'all knew exactly what I was talking about. Thank you. So Alex Haley was basically found out to be plagiarizing another writer. So yeah, at the end of the day, I would not move it past him that he was working with the Scam Africans in order to push this narrative as well. So yeah, that is a fantastic question. I don't know if he was backed by any letter organizations, but that is something that is worth a look into. I'm glad you asked that question, to be honest with you, because now I'm going to do a deep dive. I'm going to have to go and do a deep dive on that. Shout out to you for that. Much love to you. And once again, shout out to Fella Speaks. Much love to you. And thank you for your contribution as well, my good brother. And thank you for the super chat. For the record, Roots was not a true story, and Alex Haley lost a plagiarism lawsuit of $650,000 in 1978 to Harold Corlander. Roots is about Brazil slavery. That's all fake. It's not FBA history. Shout out to Fella Speaks. Much love to you, and thank you for that tidbit of information. Like I said, I know that he definitely was found out to be a plagiarizer, and he 100% got sued for it. Shout out to you, and thank you for your comment, family. Now, let's go over here because the Ghanaians have some things to say after the measure was passed.
The racialized chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity. With the adoption of this resolution, Resolution A/80/L48, we have not simply passed a text, we have affirmed a truth. We have chosen remembrance over silence, dignity over erasure, and shared humanity over division.
False. False. You did not choose dignity over erasure because you're practicing erasure by claiming that it's your ancestors that was stolen away. You're practicing erasure by not telling the truth about you guys being involved in the slave trade. You're not telling the truth about you guys leasing the land to the Portuguese in order for them to build their castles. You're not telling the truth about you making money off of those castles to this very day. All of this is erasure. All of that is erasure. All lies. Exactly, my sister. Antithesis is crazy. He said, is that shade? Hey, as shiny as this man's forehead is, he needs some shade. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I digress. Continue.
We have advanced the cause of justice, and we have done that so emphatically. Those who voted in favor, 123 member states of the United Nations. 52 abstained, and only 3 voted against. This is an emphatic victory for justice. And our ancestors, Africans, and all people of African descent are today honored that our humanity and our dignity have been restored.
What? How the hell is your humanity and dignity been restored when it ain't got nothing to do with you? So the family, listen to what this man is telling you. These folks have been running around here with no humanity, no dignity, apparently, over a situation that quite literally they caused. And they needed the UN to acknowledge that in order for them to restore their dignity. Family, everything about us, these people are trying to quite literally take away from us. But the one thing that they can't say that they're taking away from us is them restoring their dignity. We have dignity. Our dignity can't be restored by nobody because we never lost our dignity. We've been fighting since the inception of this country. We are the most dignified out of anybody in these Americas. It has always been the most dignified out of anybody in these Americas. And if that wasn't the case, they wouldn't need to bomb our cities, our towns. They wouldn't have to erase what we have built in this country. They wouldn't have to steal in patents and evictions. They wouldn't have to drop bombs, flood, firebomb. If you dignify, you wouldn't do that. The only people that's been dignified on this landmass has always been foundational Black Americans. The only people. We are not the same. Y'all look for validation in order to get your dignity. We don't need that. What we say, go. And if you don't like it, oh goddamn well. These folks, I tell you, these folks here. Shout out to J.M. Von Doom in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as where'd you go? JMC Queen in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen, and thank you for being here. Oh, that's my brother. My bad. My brother. They always begging. Much love to you. You ain't lying. Restore it with what? Exactly. Exactly. Sleazy bastards. Exactly, my sister. I'm in full agreement with you on this comment. The sleazy bastards. Oh, man. Continue.
Let me, on behalf of the African Group, express our profound appreciation to all member states who supported this resolution. We wish to thank those who engaged in its consideration in a spirit of dialogue, reflection, and good faith. We acknowledge that views differed during this process, and we note the positions taken by delegations that were not in a position to support the resolution at this time. The adoption of this text is not an arrival at a destination, but rather a major step in our ongoing journey and collective conversation for reparatory justice. We remain committed to continued engagement with all member states in the shared spirit of cooperation.
Oh, family, there's no better time. Gotta do it.
Send in the clowns.
Yesterday, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, who initiated this landmark resolution, talked about the importance of language, how it shapes our understanding of the past and our vision for the future. Today, through this resolution, the world has spoken with clarity and truth. We have affirmed that the trafficking of enslaved Africans and their racialized chattel enslavement is the gravest crime against humanity, a crime whose scale, structure, and enduring consequences demand recognition at the highest level of our shared global conscience, so that we can move forward in healing and in preventing such a crime from ever happening again.
Shout out to Southern Breeze for this comment. We should flood the UN with letters and emails opposing Africa and redirect the funds. You're on the same wavelength as I was thinking when I said I'm not too torn up or mad that the UN voted in favor of their resolution. I guess I'll say it now. Let me explain why I wasn't so mad and why I'm not mad. Because now the UN has a resolution that clearly states that the transatlantic slave trade was the gravest crime in history. Now, I truly do believe that we need to be flooding the UN with letters. We need to be going to the UN and making sure that they understand that we're glad that you guys has made sure that the world knows that the transatlantic slave trade was the largest atrocity known to man. The most devastating atrocity known to man. I'm glad that you guys have put your 2 cents in and your foot in the water. Now, since you guys have taken it upon yourself to make that statement and vote that this is the worst atrocity known to man, then you all should be able to force the people who sold us away to pay reparations to us as well. So I'm going to need Ghana to pay reparations. I'm going to need Nigeria to pay reparations. I'm going to need Angola to pay reparations. I'm going to need all of these Western African countries and Eastern African countries that participated, that actually we have documentation showing that these people have been selling slaves since the 1400s. Yeah, we're going to need you to force them to pay us reparations here in America, because that is who is owed. Don't backtrack now. Don't try to make this about Ghana, because the resolution in itself speaks about the transatlantic slave trade, and no one in Ghana was a part of that transatlantic slave trade. And if there's a grievance, the remedy must go to the person who is aggrieved. Let me say that again. If there is a grievance, then the remedy must go to those who were aggrieved. So yes, I am quite literally, I am ecstatic. I am glad that you all have taken the position that you have taken. And since you have taken that position, it should be nothing to you to make sure that these people pay what they owe to us. Now, when it comes to everybody else, they should be paid too. Look, I ain't even going to stand up for all these people, the Caribbean. I'm not going to stand up for South America. But if we're talking about it being the worst atrocity and the slaves were taken there too, guess what? They need to be paid too. Let's bankrupt Ghana. Let's make sure Ghana is bankrupt at the end of the day. Let's make sure all these countries that's participated in this transatlantic slave trade is bankrupt at the end of the day. I need my check for all of them, and I need my check from America too. And the Caribbean, y'all get y'all check from the UK. That's why I'm not too tore up about it. I'm in the middle of writing a letter. So maybe by the next time, most likely by the next time I do a live stream, or maybe by Sunday, I'll have a letter already formulated where everybody can just download it and then they can just send it off. Because at the end of the day, it was you guys that voted to bring this resolution to the floor. It was you guys that voted to pass this resolution. Now stand on it. As America said, it does not make sense to pass this resolution because these are not the aggrieved people. But since the resolution has been passed, what's stopping us from forcing them to force these African countries to enforce these African countries into paying us? You know, we were just fighting America at this point in time. But since y'all took it upon y'all self to go to the UN and make sure that the world knew that transatlantic slavery was the largest atrocity known to man, the most heinous atrocity known to man, then we can, you know, divert our attention to you at this point in time, since you've already made that assertion. So, since you want to be in the forefront of talking about reparations, Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and actually pay the reparations that you owe? As a matter of fact, I think that we should get some lawyers together, and I think we should file a motion to put a lien on many places within Ghana, to put a lien on Ghana's natural resources until our reparations is paid. Now that, you know, the UN has said that it is the worst atrocity known to man, the transatlantic slave trade. Oh yeah. See, like I said, the wheels have been moving in my head ever since I heard that they passed it. Yeah, I mean, hey, okay, cool. The resolution has been passed. That means that you guys are responsible too. So I'm going to need you to pay those reparations. And, you know, having a lien on your natural resources until you pay them, that's what a debtor, a creditor would do to a debtor, right? You owe a debt. Shout out to Antithesis. Lean on me. Exactly. We need to put a lien on everything. All the foundational Black Americans who are in Ghana right now, you need to be putting a lien on the land in which you sit on. Because, you know, Ghana has just, you know, got them to admit this is the worst atrocity known to man. Everybody should be able to go and put a lien on the property. So that would eliminate the lease of the land that your property sit on, that they were trying to, you know, make you pay for, you know, 100 years. I'm just saying. Shout out to our brother Chris in the building, Chris the Rebel. I just played one of your videos earlier, brother. As a matter of fact, let me show you which one, because, you know, I really like the way you did this. I played this clip here earlier.
You have some nerve putting that there. You should be apologizing for your ancestors not asking for reparations downtown.
Shout out to you, good brother. Shout out to you. But yeah, since y'all wanted to do that, that's not a problem. I'm actually okay with it. I'm actually okay. Everything's it's peachy keen for me. Because now I'm trying to figure out how we're going to go about this. I'm trying to figure out, how do I put an international lien on a country? How do I put a lien on your natural resources? We're all in agreement here, right? We're all in agreement. So now I'm going to need that action. And now, since you thought it was going to go your way, we're going to take everything that you just did and use it against you. See, y'all didn't listen to Whoopi when she said in The Color Purple, till you do right by me, everything you do will only fail. Well, FBA got a saying that's something similar to that. Until you do right by us, everything that you do to try to go against us will only be turned back on you. Physically, spiritually, legally, all the leagues. All the leagues. Shout out to our brother. Lean on me. Shout out to our sister Starte Jones in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here as well. As well as Earl. Much love to you and thank you for being here, as well as Born Critic in the building. Much love to you all and thank you all for being here. Yeah, family, it's that simple for me. It is that simple. I'm glad y'all admitted that this is the worst atrocity known to man. So now let's use the history books to show that your ass that sold us too. You need to be paying too. We need that money. We need those diamonds you sitting on, sir. We need that gold that you sitting on, sir. We need whatever natural resource you got, sir. Yeah, I need that on this side. We're going to go ahead and show you what to do with them. Shout out to Clyde in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. That's my grandfather's name, Clyde. And like I tell you, that man was a goddamn stone cold pimp. I'm telling you, basically, he's one of them old school brothers from Louisiana. I'm trying to tell you. But shout out to you for being here. Thank you. Exactly, Chris. We need that pronto. I need it in my hands. Antithesis, the gangster lean. See you when we get from there. Yes, sir. That gangster lean. So yeah, I'm going to be talking to a few people, and I'm going to see how we can go about doing such. I am definitely going to see how we can go about doing such. But that letter, yeah, I'm working on that, and hopefully it'll be done by Sunday, and I can give it to the family, and we could just start sending letters over to the UN and letting them know, hey, okay, hey, good job. Good job. The transatlantic slave trade, good job being the, most heinous atrocity known to man. Good job for making sure people know that. So now it's upon you to force Ghana and all these countries that was working with these Nabiscos, that was selling to these Nabiscos, that was leasing land to these Nabiscos. Yeah, we're going to need them to go ahead and pay us out. But good job. Let's let them continue, shall we?
This resolution is not about apportioning blame across generations or nations. It is not about reopening old wounds.
Oh, wait a second. No. You cannot say the revolution isn't about placing blame on any nation. It's not about opening closed wounds when it's quite literally calling for you guys to receive our funding, our reparations, our blood debt. So that means somebody has to be responsible. And you think you slick. What you did there was try to say this isn't about who's responsible because you know you have a hand in it. If we talk about who's responsible, the fingers will have to point to you. If it isn't about opening closed and sealed wounds, then it ain't about nothing. Because that sealed wound shows who did the brutalizing and who was brutalized. Oh, go ahead. Shout out to Sybil in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my sister Queen.
It is about ensuring that those wounds are neither forgotten nor denied. It is about creating space for truth, for education, and for a more honest global conversation that allows us to move forward together with greater understanding. History, as we know, is rarely simple. It is layered, it is complex, and at times uncomfortable. This resolution does not deny that complexity. It does not ignore the many dimensions of historical experience. Rather, it recognizes that even within complexity, there are moments in history that stand apart, moments defined by their scale, their systemization, and their impact on humanity. To acknowledge this is not to diminish any other history. It is to deepen our collective moral awareness. What we have achieved today helps all of us in our renewed commitment to remembrance so that future generations inherit truth, not silence, to education so that history is taught with honesty and integrity. To die.
Negro, please. Shut the hell up. The history is taught with honesty and integrity. You're not teaching history right now. You're lying about a whole damn history to try to get your country funding and investments. You're trying to insert yourself into a history of victims when your history was of the victimizer. What is going on here? These people have no brains. I thought God gave everybody common sense, but I'm starting to see not everybody was given common sense. The good Lord just didn't see fit to give you sense, apparently. I don't know what it is. Straight up scamming. Shout out Lady B in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my sister queen. Much love to you. Exactly. We don't want no apology. Just cut our check. It is that simple. It is that simple. He's a revisionist church. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's out here trying to revise the history, because if they tell the truth about history, they will have to tell the truth about what they were doing when all this was going on. And all the lies that these people love to run around talking about, we was fighting against them to keep them away from new. How are you fighting against people that you're leasing land to? How are you fighting against the people that not only are you selling your people to, but you're leasing land to these very same people? How are you fighting against them? Just gotta say, these folks, I'm happy. I'm so happy. I enjoy when they continue to talk. They turn off so many more people. Shout out LF Jasper in the building. Jasper of Yah, excuse me. I don't know why the hell I've been stumbling. I've been tired, to be honest with you, so I know what it is, but we'll push through it. We're going to push through it. Shout out Loon Chies as well. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well.
So that differences in perspective become opportunities for understanding and to cooperation, so that we address the enduring legacies of history in ways that unite rather than divide. The resolution also opens the door for continued global engagement on reparatory justice, not as a narrow or transactional concept, but as a broader framework for healing, restoration, and partnership.
I'm glad you said that. Like I said, there is a broader framework for healing and partnership. Well, not so much partnership, but healing. And that framework is you give us your natural resources until you can pay your reparations, of course. We'll get the lien done. We'll get the lien done. The lien needs to be done. That way, we'll have a pathway to healing, at least a start. And then think about this. You want to be the front line for reparations? If you pay your reparations, right? You pay the money that's owed to us. Guess what you're doing? You're now making sure we can now take that money and go after the American government and get our reparations from them as well. So you would be the leader. You would have been the person who led the charge to us actually getting reparations from the American government. And then you could be so proud. Then you can say, we led the charge for reparations for the most heinous atrocity known to man, the transatlantic slave trade. And that is Ghana's legacy. I'm just saying, just go ahead, pay your reparations to us, and then we'll use that to fight for our reparations here in America, or continue to fight for our reparations here in America. And when we get it, you can say, hey, it was because of the fact we paid our reparations to them that they was able to get their reparations from the American government. Shout out to M. Flournoy. Check out the 216 UN resolution. The UN panel says that the U.S. owes reparations to African Americans. The UN's working group of experts on people of American descendants said that. You're absolutely correct. They came over here and they did a full study. And when they got done with the study, they concluded that not only did the United States owe foundational Black Americans reparations, but they concluded that America has been practicing a form of genocide against us. I remember that I remember that report well. I remember that report well. You are absolutely right, my sister. Shout out to Loon Chives. Much love to you. And thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. And I appreciate your contribution as always. Speak, brother. Much love to you. Much love to you. Yeah. So since the UN has said not only was the transatlantic slave trade the most devastating atrocity known to man, and they also said that we're owed reparations here in America, they also said that we're going through a form of genocide here in America, they should have no problem forcing these people to go ahead and pay up. You're right. And shout out to Sharice for being here. Thank you for being here, my sister queen. With interest. With interest. There was no Ghana until 1957. And while that is correct, the people of that land was still there. And they've been there for centuries. They've been there working with the Nabisco for centuries. And the only reason why they were given that name, Ghana, is because of the fact, the whole shuffle for the Africa or whatnot. But yeah, they've still been there. The Ashanti people. Oh yeah, these people are absolutely complicit. It was many tribes along what would be known as Ghana today that was complicit. And the Ashanti people wanted a monopoly on it. And that's how they got their monopoly on it. But shout out to you for that comment, Robert Taylor. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Shout out to our good brother John Son in the building. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. And I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brothers. Our ancestors didn't have the luxury of contemplation. Oh, peace to the family. Come on with it. Oh, I'm trying to tell you, family. See, these folks don't know what they didn't awoken. They didn't awoken all kind of beasts in us. And all those beasts, it's just our ancestors doing what they do. It's just our ancestors doing what they do. Shout out Miss D's 6 Woman Sports in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Now let's continue. We ain't going to play this full. I'm just going to get to the part.
It also calls for further actions within our respective states. We therefore urge every member state to consider carefully the actions it must take to ensure inclusive and good faith dialogue on reparatory justice. The work of justice does not end with remembrance. The racialized systems that adversely shape our world must yield to a system that does not distinguish between our common humanity, and which seeks for the interests of all peoples in a fair, just, and equitable manner. Let me conclude with this reflection. We cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. And in doing so...
Did you catch that, family? Did you catch that, family? If not, let's run it back.
Peoples in a fair, just, and equitable manner. Let me conclude with this reflection. We cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. Conclude with this reflection. We cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. Conclude with this reflection. We cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. And its reflection. We cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. And in reflection, we cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. And in doing so, we can change.
He's talking erasure. Family, this is what I'm saying. This is why we keep our foots all the way on their neck, not semi on their neck, not on their back a little bit. Nah, it's on their neck, right at the jugular. Because of things like this, he's telling you out loud what the hell they're doing.
But we can change how we remember it. And in doing so, we can change what we carry forward. Today, the world has chosen to remember with purpose, justice, and equity. Let that purpose guide us toward a future that is more just, more inclusive, and more profoundly human. I would like to thank our negotiating team, staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the staff of our mission in New York, in Geneva, and in Addis Ababa. And I would like to thank especially our President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for his vision, his dynamism, his effectiveness, which the UN Secretary General acknowledged today in their bilateral engagement, and for his humanity. His guidance has been absolutely phenomenal in bringing us to this historic moment. Ghana, Africa, and all people of African descent, and indeed all people of the world with good conscience, will eternally be grateful to President Mahama for his leadership at this defining hour in global history. I thank you very much for your indulgence, and I shall now take your questions.
Damn you and your questions. You're done here, buddy. You're done here. Shout out to M. Flournoy. You have a good case. Maybe a lawyer in international law could take up the case pro bono. This is a good cause. You're absolutely correct. And like I said, I'm going to talk to a couple of people. I'm going to talk to my mentor, and I'm going to see if she can actually suggest somebody to do so. Because, yeah, like I said, the plate is set on the table. I'm just trying to get the food put on there so we can get the plate brought to us. But shout out to you, my sister, and thank you for being here, as well as our sister C. Terry in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here as always. As well as Akatarian in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here as well. Family, these folks, as my brother used to say to me when I was younger, you're so smart, you're stupid. Y'all think y'all so smart that your stupidity is seeping out. And because of it, like our good brother Antithesis just said, oh, we're going to hit you with the Uno reverse every single time. What you're thinking you're doing to us, guess what? We're sending all that right back to you. With the quickness. When I say that ABK is on its way, you better best believe that that big old shiny head ain't going to be able to duck it, nor dodge it. All that big ass moon you got right there can do is accept your fate. Shout out Nito in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. They all look stupid. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And shout out to our good brother Eddie Foster in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Now let's get to some of these idiots, shall we? Let's start out here.
So for those of you who have been keeping up with the recent declaration of slavery being considered a crime against humanity brought by Ghana's President John D. Mahama, the votes are in, and 123 nations voted in favor to recognize slavery as a crime against humanity. 3 voted against, and 52 voted to abstain. Now, out of those 3, the US and the EU decided to vote no, of course. Now, funny enough, when it was the United States' turn to give their vote, the representative said that Trump actually has done so much for Black Americans. But now many are asking the questions, what's next? Well, make sure you check out the 10-point plan and stay tuned.
What's next is that we're coming after all of you. All of you. You wanted to be at the forefront of reparations. Congratulations, you're at the forefront, and now our eyes are on you. So you should have just left it alone when we was over here going after America. You should have just left us alone. You should have just left us be, but you didn't want to do so. So now our eyes are on you. And you're going to catch some of this work that America has been catching for these decades, for these centuries of us giving them this work. We're going to, for every century we gave America that work, we're going to give you that work times 2. And America is what, about 250 years old, but yet, you know, we were already before here. Okay, so that's about 400 years. Plus, you got to add on that before the 1619 with 1420. So we're going to have to give you 500 to 600 years times 2. So we're going to do 1,200 years worth of work on you, mother lovers. Each and every one of you is going to catch this work with interest. Yeah, you should have just left us alone. You should have just kept your mouth closed and stayed out of our damn business, because now you are the business. Shout out to Cherry. She says, all participants must pay. Every single one of them. I don't even give a damn no more. Damn, just going after the American government right away, right here, right now. We can still keep that in line. We still got that in mind. We still got that in the, the chamber. We're still going to continue doing what we're doing here. But now, guess what? You've expanded what we're going to concentrate on. So we're going to, walk and chew bubble gum. That's what's next. And these people saying America saying no or voting against it, of course. At least America is telling the world that they know who they owe, and them bastards ain't a part of it. Exactly, at the same damn time. Let's go here. Ghana's resolution on the transatlantic slave trade reparations passed at the UN with only the U.S. is neutral, and Argentina. Oh, they didn't want to put Israel. Argentina voting against it. I'm not even surprised. No stuff. You're Caribbean. Of course you wouldn't be. You're sitting here acting as if this is something that we didn't know was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. And we knew why it was going to happen. Because y'all don't have a tie to us. Y'all not owe what we're owed. You don't have the debt that we have. Well, technically, the debt that America has. America already know who their creditor is. It's foundational Black American. It is not the Caribbean. It is not Ghana. It is not Nigeria or anybody else. Shout out to Claude once again. Much love to you, and thank you for your contribution. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Not the name drop. Not the name drop, church. All respect to you and your platform. But we have an esteemed lawyer on our side named Dennis Spearling. He's been saying for a while we should go and sue Africa. You two should talk. I'm going to look into him. Thank you for that information. As a matter of fact, while I got his name right here, let me go ahead and pull him up. Dennis Spearling. Yeah, we definitely got to do some talking to see if we can get this going. Let's see here. Attorney. Let me put attorney. There we go. All right, good looking, family. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a call and see what we can do. Shout out to our sister C. Terry. Thank you for your contribution. I appreciate everything that you do. Much love to you. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as well. Return to sender tenfold, and you are absolutely on point with that. We're returning all of this nonsensical energy, and we're returning it with interest. With interest, damn it. Let's go here because, you know, these tethers are highly excited about this as if, you know, they've actually made some moves.
So the United Nations, they voted in favor against slave trade, against transatlantic slave trade. It was John Dramani Mahama, the president of Ghana, that led this celebration. He gave a speech at the UN saying that America is erasing the history of black people, calling for reparations, and calling for slave trade as crime against humanity. 123 countries voted in favor. Most European countries abstained from voting. Even the UK abstained from voting. The three countries voted. Three countries voted to not be in favor of the UN recognizing slave trade as a crime, humanity's greatest crime against humanity. Israel, Argentina, and America. They said nay. 123 people voted yes. Argentina, Israel, and United States said no. Most European countries abstained from voting. Now, what does that tell you? The people that were involved in this slave trade, colonialism, do you think they will be in favor of paying reparations or even recognizing slave trade as a crime? No, they will not.
Notice how he's leaving out the people who were selling. Someone put it in the chat earlier. I believe it was you know what? Just chop it up to my bad memory. But shout out to whoever put it in the chat earlier. Slave trade equals buyers plus sellers. You can't have a trade if you don't have buyers plus sellers. Let's be very clear. But they're not mentioning that, are they?
And the thing is still happening today. Africa still keeps sending their resources to America. Lithium, bauxite, rare earth minerals. These are all these for the electric vehicles, you know, robotics, AI, and the rest. Boost their manufacturing capacity, while Africa remains poor. The royalties they'll pay to Africa, 5%, 10%, very poor. This is that African leaders cannot say no. Now they cannot see slave trade and transatlantic slave. There's even the Arab slave trade, where Arabs are mistreating black people, putting them in human conditions. If you see what they did to black people, oh. And Christians are supporting Israel. Christians are looking to America. There are Christians that, and there are Muslims in Africa that are looking at going to Arab nations, you know, to pray and do other stuff. You can see how they treat black people.
How about how you guys treat black people? How about how you guys treated the people that you guys sold away? How about that? You talk about the Arabs. You talk about god dang America. I didn't hear anything about Africans. I didn't hear anything about anything you guys were involved in. Y'all not taking responsibility and accountability for bringing the Portuguese in to go against the Arabs. And then not only did they overtake you, but they overtook your kingdom. Shout out to Dr. John Herrick Clark. So y'all invite the Portuguese in to get the Arab out, and then you start practicing in the same damn trade that the Arab was doing. Shout out, there you go. Shout out to Misha. I knew it was one of you sisters. I just couldn't remember which one of you sisters said it. But yeah, I now that you put it up, I remember now. It was you. Shout out to you. That was a very good comment, a very good statement. You cannot have a trade without sellers and buyers. And shout out to our good sister FBA Queen in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. And let me give a shout out to our good brother Antithesis for another contribution. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, my good brother, for the legal fund. Let's go. And that's exactly what we're getting going. Damn all this, that we're not just gonna let emotions drive crazy, drive you wild. No, we're gonna take what they did and we're gonna use this as a framework to show the world that, hey, not only can FBA multitask, not only can we walk and chew bubble gum, but trust me, you can be added to the list too. Shout out to Iron Malt in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for your super sticker. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Now let's go here, family, because you know you got at least one or two people who basically, he sounds like a hater. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But he's going to try to make it seem like, well, if you're mad at Ghana, then where is your representation? Let's get into it.
Oh, peace if it's peace. Because once again, it's on. Let's see what got FBA aggravated today, my lord. UN votes to recognize slavery as the gravest crime against humanity, my lord. Ghana pushes UN to back reparations to historic slave trade. It's time for the UN to formally recognize the transatlantic slave trade as a crime against humanity. Ghana pushes UN resolution to recognize slave trade as a crime against humanity. You get the point. Now, before we get all aggravated like we usually do, my lord, because I know we have a problem with Ghana speaking up on Black Americans' behalf, boy, that's how it seems to be, even though they are in the landmass where it was the center for the transatlantic slave trade, and it was also.
What the hell does that got to do with speaking up for a people that was sold away from that landmass, sir? Why should I want the seller of people who were sold from that landmass to now speak for the quote-unquote people or the so-called people that they sold away? What kind of nonsense is you talking about? I see those glasses are purely for fashion purposes. I'm pretty sure. You're not smart. You're not a nerd. So I'm pretty sure those glasses are purely for fashion purposes.
So effective, but that ain't the point that I'm getting at. Anytime that we mad at another group speaking up for us, we should look at our own disorganization and say, Ghana is a nation and their government is speaking up for this issue. Where is our government? Umar ain't our head of state. Tariq ain't our head of state. Farrakhan ain't our head of state. None of the Moors are our head of states. We don't have a head of state. We don't have no senators. We don't have a parliament. We don't have a government. We need a government.
And without all of that, foundational Black Americans was able to take reparations to the main stage and make it the main focal point of everyone's conversation. What the hell is this dude talking about, Oswald?
Internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection.
A people that is a nation supposed to have a government, borders, military, currency, think nation. Furthermore, this is empty symbolism at this point because the UN already designated the transatlantic slave trade as a crime against humanity. My lord, let's examine the file. The Durban Declaration and Program of Action, DDPA, adopted at the UN World Conference Against Racism in Durban, South Africa in 2001, explicitly recognized that slavery and the slave trade, including the transatlantic slave trade, are a crime against humanity and should always have been so. Now, if we're looking at it from a political landscape, it could be a play for Ghana and America, the United States of America, to finally do away with the reparations argument, meaning they can give Ghana trinkets, a small amount of funds or whatever, cut out some of their foreign aid and say, yeah, we paid reparations, so Black Americans, y'all have no gripe against us anymore.
No, they could not do that. And this is why people who don't know what they're talking about need to keep their damn mouth shut. A debt is owed to foundational Black Americans. There is no standing nowhere in law that says if a debt is owed to somebody, that you can go and give that debt to a completely different person and then that absolves you of debt. That does not happen anywhere. It doesn't happen anywhere. So what the hell makes you think that they will be able to pay off Ghana and then turn to us, the people that is owed the grievance, the people that is owed the reparations, the people that have been aggrieved that we already paid your reparations to a completely different group of people. This is why people need to shut the hell up if you don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes down to reparations. When it comes down to legal situations, period. Keep your damn mouth closed if you don't know the legal standing. There is none when it comes to what you just said. But go ahead. Shout out to our good brother, Still Kevin Trees in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as always, my good brother.
Furthermore, it should always point back to our own disorganization because nobody can speak up for us if we're well organized. Thank you, nation.
Well, what do you call what we're doing today? What do you think we've been doing? When you go on TikTok and you see Black Americans speaking up against this. When you go on X and you see Black Americans speaking up against this. When you go on Instagram and see Black Americans speaking up against this. When you go on Facebook and see Black Americans speaking up against this. You can go to real life Black Americans, walk up to their face and ask them about this Ghanian situation, and they will speak up against it. That's called unity. That's called using our voice. That's called advocating for ourselves without a head of state, without an ambassador, without a leader, a representative, a senator, a president. We are moving the needle here. We're driving the vehicle here. We are behind the realms. We have taken the steering wheel. We're the ones putting the coal inside of the engine, and that damn train has left the tracks. It is us on that train, good sir. And we didn't need any of those representatives that you quote unquote said we needed to do it. Continue.
Also, it's been Black Americans working to get reparations for us for the longest. And Kobe.
Get your man.
All right.
That was crazy.
For sure.
I don't even know what to say.
Sit down and shut the fuck up, bitch!
This man said we have Black organizations that's been fighting for reparations for a while. And he brings up in Cobra. Big Bird in them, you know. The same people that have used their clout to speak against reparations for foundational Black Americans. The same people, every time we get a needle moving, they want to go out and get in front of the cameras and say, well, we've been here the longest, so, you know, we have more say. And we're like, hell no, get your bum ass out the way. You're talking about that in Cobra? Man, if you're talking about that in Cobra, there's only one thing I can say to you.
You's a cool nigga.
Nah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. There's only one way to describe a person like that.
You's a coon nigga.
Continue.
Is one group, whether you agree with them or not, that's been at the forefront of that battle for the longest. The National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America.
And what have they got done in the past 20, 30, 40 years? Not a damn thing. Foundational Black Americans have only been calling ourselves Foundational Black Americans since like 2016. 2016 to 2026. That is a decade. And in one decade, we have gotten more done. We have gotten more done. Let me say that one more time, like Dr. Umar. We have gotten more done than any Pan-African organization that's been around for 40 plus years, 30 plus years, 20 plus years. So what does that tell you, dummy? They're incompetent and inefficient. We are competent and very efficient. Let that sink in. And I seen it in the chat. I seen it. I'll oblige.
Send in the clowns.
Cobra, my lord. See that 87. And let's keep it 1,000. Even before in Cobra, Republic of New Africa was fighting for reparations way back in the 60s, my lord. And they are the founders of in Cobra. Let's examine.
I'm going to run that back because I want to make sure I heard him right.
And let's keep it 1,000. Even before in Cobra, Republic of New Africa was fighting for reparations way back in the 60s, my lord. And they are the founders of in Cobra. Let's examine the file. See that? National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America. Amari Obadeli, Chokwe Lumumba, founders. Amari Abubakari Obadeli, A Matter of War. Amari Obadeli, All Enslavement in the 13 Colonies in the United States, the Republic of New Africa, and Reparations. Yeah. And he was a lawyer. Put some respect on his name, my lord. Peace to the God. Oh, peace of it.
Okay. Number one. I don't give a damn who was fighting for reparations. And that isn't even if he was fighting for the Republic of Ghana for reparations. That ain't got shit to do with me. And also, if he was fighting for the reparations to go to Ghana, he was a goddamn coon too. You's a coon nigga. The hell are these people talking about? This is what foundational Black Americans have been contending with. A bunch of damn idiots who just run their damn mouths because they feel like what they have to say is important. Newsflash, sir, it isn't. It quite literally is not. Now, I'm going to pull up a real young brother, a real FBA brother who has something to say about this. And then I'm going to go ahead because I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. If you feel like coming up and giving your 2 pennies. So the link is in the chat for anybody who would like to come up and speak to this situation. I will not do like our brother Torian and give you a time limit, but let's be mindful. Shout out to our good brother Torian Rain. That damn buzzer be getting niggas too. And while we wait on whether or not people are going to come, pause. Let's go ahead and play what the young brother had to say.
Me, the president of Ghana, went to the UN on behalf of reparations for Black Americans. I mean, y'all gotta cut out the bullshit. Nah, for real. Y'all really gotta cut out the bullshit, bro. To all my tribe, all my people that been listening to this message I've been kicking, and to all my other people that been kicking at this message. You know, a shout out to Silk, absolutely. Man, I appreciate you doing your thing because you brought it to my attention. But I only saw the video where you showed where they turned his dumb ass down. But anyway, y'all, so the president of Ghana tried to come to the UN on behalf of getting reparations for Black Americans. Bro, we ain't African, man. How many times we got to tell y'all? So all my people, ain't y'all happy that we delineated, we separated ourselves from these people, proved who we are. We got proof, we got evidence that we the indigenous people of America. We gonna take a page out of their playbook. We need to come together. All my people that got this knowledge, all my people that got receipts, they got proof, they got evidence. We need to come together and figure out how we can go to the UN and actually really get reparations for our people. Obviously, that's where you go to get the reparations, because he wouldn't have been there. That ain't where he would have took it. So white man that spoke, that said that he declined it for them, that's who we need to be talking to. We can prove to him that we the indigenous people of America. They already know. If we really want to get reparations, let's really come together, put all this information together. We got a lot of smart people on this app that know who we are, and everybody can play a position. Let's figure out how we can get what we doing on TikTok to the UN and really get our reparations. Y'all leave a comment. Let me know how we gonna turn up. Let's get it. So y'all telling me the president.
Shout out to that young brother right there. Like I said, we ain't over here getting too emotional about it. You know, many of us are coming up with solutions to the issue. And the truth of the matter is, like I said, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, good. Then that puts you on the hook. That puts you on the hook. So yeah, I'm going to be contacting some attorneys. I'm going to get in contact with Brother Dennis and see what, we can do. And yeah, that's how we're going to move. That's it. That's all. So let me end with this. For all those who keep trying to disrespect not just foundational Black Americans, but our ancestors, I'm going to need you to strap in. I'm going to need you to go ahead and put your seatbelt on. Because this is about to be a real bumpy ride for all of you. You see, you guys forgot one crucial detail about foundational Black Americans. You forgot one crucial detail about foundational Black Americans. You forgot one crucial detail about foundational Black Americans. So let me remind you. When we put our mind to something, when we put that energy and force behind something, it gets done. So you put your face on our target. I've been playing darts for a long time now. Let me show you how we're going to hit this bullseye. But with that being said, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button as well as the hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. I'm 100% ecstatic that these people have done what they did. I am ecstatic. I am excited about the next steps. And I'm also excited to show these folks why you don't put yourself on our dartboard, excuse me. Because we're going to get that bullseye. Whether you like it or not, watch us do it. And if you don't like it, tough. You set up the board. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. Like I said, all my mods, my members, my Patreons, everybody who's donated, whether by Super Chat, Cash App, or any other place. Much love to each and every one of you. I want you all to have a fantastic rest of your hump day. In the words of our brother KG, go out and hump something. I love when our brother says that. That shit's just too hilarious to me. Go out and do what you do. Have a phenomenal rest of your day, family. And we will be back here, if not tomorrow. I think I get off early tomorrow. If we're not back here tomorrow to do a news drop, because I was going to actually do an in other news situation drop, but I decided to do this one here today. And so we'll do the in other news situation either tomorrow or Friday. And then on Sunday, I have another broadcast set up for, Sunday service that's basically going to highlight, that's a good word, some great tactics that we've been using. Much love to each and every one of you. Shout out to each and every one of you. Shout out to our ancestors, and shout out most of all to the Most High. All praise goes to the Most High. When the Most High told me everything that they do will fail, the Reef ceremony will fail, the Musty Man March will fail, all because it is not for them, it is ordained for us. This is another situation that I have no worries about. Much love to each and every one of you, and all praises to the Most High. With that being said, family, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. It doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us black people. He's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm out.